There's many different ways to judge backlink quality. The first and most obvious way is just to go on the website. So for anyone who doesn't know what a backlink is when some other website on the internet puts their link on your website, either through an anchor tag. So, hey, check out this website, and they kind of link to it, and then you can click and it goes to your website. That's a backlink. And basically the origin of backlinks is to become more helpful. You can't cover everything in your blog. So you need to reference things from other blogs. Say you're writing about real estate trends in Toronto. That's the topic you're kind of talking about. What will eventually happen is you might need to reference the MLS. You might need to reference different major publications so that, you can be like, hey, it's up. So maybe you want to talk about population in Toronto is up by 2.3% according to Stats Can. So people can click through, they can go to that page. So that's why links were invented. So what Google did was it took these links and it started interpreting them as votes of confidence. So it's basically like when you as a website reference another website, you're basically communicating to Google that this website A exists, you know about it, and you're kind of referencing it. So you wouldn't want to send your audience to a bad website. That was the theory. So a good Samaritan would only link to websites that add value. Websites that add value deserve to be ranked higher, because if you're in a marketplace with 10 million websites that are all competing for the same terms and you can only rank 10 in your first page, you have to come up with a way to actually prioritize them, which helps the audience find the right information the right way. So they do it many different ways, right? So firstly, it begins with what you actually have on the page itself. But if everybody has the same type of content on the page, then it goes to sort of backlinks and other things. And that's what a backlink is. It's basically the more times you get reference from other blogs to your website that are relevant to your website, the more likely you are to be higher in search engines if everything else is sort of like equal or even unequal. Like backlinks do influence a lot. So that's why you have a backlink. And that's the purpose of a backlink itself. Now, in terms of judging quality, what you want to do is you don't want to associate your website with bad websites, because what's eventually going to happen is that even if the short-term effect is good, the long-term effect is too risky. So what will happen is that if you start associating your website with bad websites, gambling websites, like scammy sort of websites with a lot of ads, a lot of random links, other places, you don't want to be in that, because then you get put into something that's called a bad neighborhood, which is basically Google will characterize your website with all these other websites because you have links on them. And this could potentially hurt you. There's ways around it, and Google rarely acts on this, but it's better to steer clear. You can disavow those links through your search console. But the thing is, you don't want to be associated with these sort of bad websites because they could get taken down, then your links are valueless. So the first thing you do is you go on the website you're trying to get a backlink to, and you just check it out. I think it's just innate human browsing behavior, which is kind of prepare us. Like if you walk into a forest that's dark and foggy, you're not like, most likely you're not going to be like, oh yeah, I feel so at home here. I feel so comfortable here, right? Same thing with certain websites. You can go to certain websites and you're like, yeah, I don't think I want to be here because I don't want to get a virus, because there's pop-ups coming up. There's random links. There's all this random stuff that's going on. The website talks about 17,000 different topics. So like those are things you can just catch really fast. It's called a smell test. It's just you smell the website and you're like, yeah, this is too scammy for me to ever try to put a backlink. That's number one. That gets rid of 80 to 90% of your opportunities right there. Next, you're looking at relevancy. Does the website talk about the stuff that you're talking about? So the example I would give is, let's say you have a dog grooming business. The second thing you want to look at is relevancy. So it's not very valuable for a dog grooming company in Toronto or a dog walking company in Toronto to get a backlink from Nike. It's not really relevant. Even though Nike is a fantastic website, it's not relevant to dog walking or like dog grooming in general. It's a lot better for that sort of dog grooming company to get a backlink from a company that talks about dogs and their grooming needs or whatever. So the more relevant the website is to your business, the better. That's the second thing you're kind of looking at. When you go on the website, you're looking at, are the topics that I'm talking about actually being covered in the main navigation? Is this website relevant to the website that I'm trying to get a backlink for? So you're more likely to get more climb in the rankings if you were to get backlink from a vet in your neighborhood or a local newspaper or something like that, because that's more relevant to your business because it talks about your location or it talks about specific things. So like the more authority a website has within a specific space that you're talking about, the more likely it is to influence your rankings. So the thing you need to do next is, after you've done the smell test, it looks fine, you need to actually ask yourself, is this relevant to my website? Is this like a peripheral sort of industry to my website? One trap I see a lot of people fall into is that they'll get links from websites that are general. It's like, oh, this website's about business, AI, crypto, starting your business, and doing like 10,000 different things. That doesn't really make sense, right? Those are less relevant. Even though it's about business and maybe your website's about business, you should try to take it one level sort of even lower. Like I talked about dog grooming, it's better to get from a vet in your area or a major newspaper in your location, because at least it's in your location. Yeah, so that's the second thing. So the second thing I want to look at is relevancy. So once that check is done, the thing that I'm going to start doing next is I'll probably read some of their blogs, look at their blogs, see what they're recently talking about. So it gives me a better idea. Once again, it validates that it's relevant. But then apart from that, it gives me an idea as to how we can go about building links on that website. So yeah, to just sort of reading those blogs, really understanding what they're sort of about. And then I started looking at their domain rating or their domain authority. So I put into Ahrefs or SEMrush. I check out how authoritative they are. I might check out their Moz spam score as well. So like making sure it's a low spam score. So making sure that the links that they're getting on their website are from low spam websites, because once again, you don't want to be put into a bad neighborhood per se. Because if this website is getting all their links from like random websites, gambling websites, crypto websites, you might get hurt, but they'll get taken down, but you might get hurt also in the process. So once I also look at traffic, how much traffic they're getting, because the more traffic it is, the better the website is, because once again, user signals, traffic is a big thing. And yeah, just making sure the website is good, it's aligned with your niche, it's not spammy, there's no pop-ups coming up every single place, every inch of the website isn't an advertisement for some random stuff. That's what you're really looking on a good website.